All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking that explosive 3-2 round of 16 match between Argentina and Egypt down in Atlanta. I mean, if you've been anywhere near social media lately, you know exactly what game I'm talking about. It literally had everything. We're talking underdog heroics, defensive masterclasses, a legendary comeback, and, yeah, arguably the most heavily debated refereeing decisions of the entire 2026 World Cup. So we are going to break down exactly what happened out there on the pitch, using the facts, the rules, and the footage to just kind of make sense of all this chaos.
The fallout from this game has been absolutely immense. We're looking at a formal FIFA complaint from the Egyptian Football Association, huge accusations of double standards, and viral claims everywhere that the whole tournament was somehow manipulated. But our goal today? Just pure clarity. We're going to examine these claims objectively without taking sides. Basically, we're acting as an impartial jury today, relying strictly on the match evidence, the official rules, and expert analysis to get to the actual truth behind all this drama.
Section 1. The World Cup Controversy.
Section 2. Egypt's unlikely 2-0 lead.
Okay, to truly understand the sheer heartbreak here, we really have to look at how incredibly close the Pharaohs were to pulling off the greatest upset in modern history against the defending champs. And it wasn't a fluke. For over an hour, they were legitimately outplaying Goliath. Right out of the gate, 15th minute, Yasser Ibrahim powers home this massive header to put them up 1-0. Then, right on the stroke of halftime, Argentina gets a golden chance to equalize with a penalty. But Egyptian goalkeeper Mostafa Choubert pulls off this stunning, spectacular diving save to deny none other than Lionel Messi. Fast forward to the 67th minute, and Mostafa Zico finishes off a lethal counterattack, beautifully assisted by Mohamed Salah. Boom! Egypt is up 2-0 with just over 20 minutes left. The quarterfinals were literally right there in their grasp.
Section 3. The disallowed goal.
So, the 58th minute. This is where our case study gets really messy, and where the match just starts to fracture. Egypt thought they'd scored their second goal. It was this beautiful, flowing build-up. Haitham Hassan flies down the wing, sets up Salah, who finds Zico for a brilliant finish. The stadium goes absolutely wild. But then, VAR steps in. See, FIFA has this strict protocol called the immediate attacking phase. It dictates that if a foul occurs anywhere during the start of the build-up, the goal has to be overturned. And that's exactly what happened. The goal was completely wiped out because, at the very beginning of the play, Marwan Attia pulled Lisandro Martinez shirt at the completely opposite end of the pitch. So by the exact letter of the law, it was technically a foul.
But while technically correct, comparing these two realities is exactly why journalists were up in arms. On one side, you've got this minimal hold, a full pitch away, being strictly penalized to erase a historic goal. On the other side, the established standard of the rest of the tournament, which had honestly just allowed play to continue through that kind of light contact. High-profile journalists like Henry Winter and BBC's Dale Johnson heavily criticized this. Johnson actually hit the nail on the head, arguing you just can't ignore light contact all game long, only to pull back a massive goal for a tiny hold a full length of the pitch away. It just felt entirely inconsistent with how the game had been refereed up to that exact second.
Section 4. Stoppage time heartbreak. Now, if the disallowed goal lit the match, stoppage time blew up the powder keg. This specific moment brilliantly illustrates the core conflict of the whole game, the agonizing inconsistency from the officials. Remember earlier, a shirt pull by Italia triggered a VAR review that erased an Egyptian goal, right? Well, fast forward to the 92nd minute. Right before Argentina's game winner, Egyptian midfielder Hamdi Fathi appears to get his shirt pulled by Alexis McAllister right in the box. The referee waves play on, and crucially, this is the big part, VAR does not intervene to check it. Seconds later, the ball is in the back of the net, and Argentina completes their epic comeback. It's this exact discrepancy that validates so much of the frustration pouring out of the Egyptian side.
Before we get into the aftermath, here is a really wild piece of statistical history for you. Enzo Fernandez's dramatic 92nd minute header, it wasn't just a heartbreaker for Egypt. It was exactly the 3,000th goal in World Cup history. That is an incredible milestone, and now it's forever tied to one of the most controversial moments in modern football.
Section 5. Rigged or just inconsistent? Literally within minutes of the final whistle, the internet was just flooded with viral claims that FIFA intentionally manipulated the game. Theories that they wanted to guarantee a superstar showdown later on, like a Messi versus Mbappe or Haaland matchup. And that raw fury was definitely mirrored in the post-match press conference. Egypt's coach Haitham Hassan did not mince words at all. He flat out called it a rigged match, openly saying his team was cheated out of a historic quarterfinal appearance.
And honestly, when you look at the emotional roller coaster they were on, getting a goal called back and then losing on a non-call in stoppage time, that visceral reaction is entirely understandable.
But as we dig into the evidence, we really have to look for the most logical explanation. As pundit Roy Keane pointed out afterward, the evidence points less to some grand, shadowy conspiracy by FIFA and a lot more toward a very real, agonizing lack of consistency in the refereeing. Keane said, "Sometimes the bigger teams do seem to get the benefit of the decisions, and that highlights an unfortunate reality in football. Sometimes subconscious bias or just the sheer pressure of officiating massive, legacy teams can lead to discrepancies that disproportionately hurt the underdogs without it being some pre-planned script."
Of course, to be completely fair and impartial here, we also have to talk about the actual football played outside of those refereeing decisions. Independent of the whole VAR controversy, Argentina executed a legendary, furious 11-minute offensive onslaught. It started with Christian Romero sparking the comeback, then Lionel Messi doing what he does best and finding the back of the net, and finally, Enzo Fernandez securing that historic 3,000th goal. It was a tactical collapse by a very fatigued Egyptian defense that was staring down immense quality and just relentless pressure from the world champions.
So ultimately, the reality is that the bracket is firmly set. While Egypt pushed the defending champions to the absolute brink, which is an achievement they should hold their heads incredibly high for, by the way, it is Argentina moving forward. They march on to face Switzerland in the quarterfinals, keeping their World Cup dream very much alive.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. When you look at the strictly yet inconsistently applied rules and juxtapose that with that undeniable 11-minute surge of pure brilliance from Argentina, was Egypt robbed by VAR? Or did Argentina simply show the heart of champions when it mattered most? It's a debate that is absolutely going to rage on for years. Thanks for joining me today. Keep questioning and stay focused.